Gabrielle and I are just coming out of that long, dark tunnel known as the child-rearing years. Everything goes black during this period. You re-emerge on the other side, you're disoriented. You're unfamiliar with yourself, let alone your partner. She's feeling the same way, of course. Things usually begin to fall apart around this time. Many of the couples we knew were dropping faster than cocksuckers in a bathhouse. It's Friday night. We're in our cozy pajamas. Popcorn's made and we're sitting up in front of the TV to watch a movie. Although it's only 8 o'clock. Hey, wait a second. We don't have to do this. Both the kids are away on sleepovers. We can do anything we want. We can go out. And then I noticed my own thoughts reflected in her eyes. Yeah. But do I want to go out with you? Just because I'm married doesn't mean I have to tell her everything. Can I not have a little place just for me? I don't remember giving up my right to privacy when I took my marriage vows. Is that even reasonable to ask of another? To give up one's right to privacy for the remainder of his or her life? If all goes well, that could be a long time. My desire for privacy is also a desire for freedom. Marriage is confining. Sure, sometimes that confinement feels like comfort and security. But others, it's like prison. There's this belief that we have to share it all. Every single little last scrap of our lives with our spouses. Even our thoughts. What are you thinking about, we ask each other, sensing our partner has drifted off someone else. Well, if you really want to know, I was wondering what it would be like to suck another guy's cock. How would you feel if it was your wife admitting that? Your husband? I decided I was going to do it. I had to. I wanted to. Had to, wanted to, whatever. No justifications. This is for me. There is so much about a partnership that involves family life and kids that's not about you. So much discussion, compromise, debate. I don't want to debate this. Sometimes it takes a reckless act. Whether it's born out of anger, or frustration, or simple desire. It's like a spear thrust into the ground. This is where I stake my claim, on my terms. Yes, it's selfish and uncompromising. And after years of agreeing to things you've never really agreed to, it feels good. It feels so good, it doesn't matter what happens afterwards, because you no longer care. We all have these hidden desires. Maybe that's why we ask the question, what are you thinking about? How many of us have the courage to share these with our spouses? Or better yet, simply to admit them to ourselves? The first layer of intimacy is being intimate with oneself. By hung fit. Looking for a hot roll in the hay. I'm updating my status on Unload. It's a gay hookup site. Saturday morning, and I'm in the basement with our 2 kids, Beatrice and Orlando, age 10 and 11 respectively. They're watching cartoons. I wonder about all this adult stuff. No matter. They'll never know. No one will. This, I'm taking with me to the grave. Chat buddy. Hey there, sexy, you looking? Possibly. Check out his profile. Gay, early 30s. Cute. Small frame. My kind of guy. I'm looking. I've yet to connect with anyone on this site, or at all for that matter. Up to this point, I could still look Gabrielle straight in the eye and say, no, I have not been with anyone else, have you? It's pretty good, really, to have made it through 12 years of marriage. All things considered, gay father, mother on her third husband, confused sexuality. I'd been living on my own since I was 17 before I met Gabrielle. I'd never had a long-term relationship before her. Well, unless you consider Stuart, which I don't. I told Gabrielle that the first person to get me off, other than my own right hand, was my best friend Stuart Green when we were 13. I'd have given anything for that title to have gone to Leah Cole. I was in love with Leah. Tight little gymnast bod, perky little titties, slightest downy mustache over her kissable lips that used to beat out the sweat when she worked out. I wanted to lick the sweat off those lips. Unfortunately, neither Leah Cole nor any of the other 13-year-old girls I knew were into having sex. Stuart was, though. Did that make me bi or just desperate? Bisexuality is a queer thing indeed. Stuart and I were 13 and experimenting. Or so I thought. Or so I told Stuart. I'd been reading Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex but Were Afraid to Ask by Dr. David Rubin. It was with great interest that I pored over this section on teenage boys. According to Dr. Rubin, it was quite common for this age group to experiment with masturbating each other and even possibly trying oral sex. What a great idea! I read the passage to Stuart. So what do you think, guys? I don't know, what do you think? I think it could be fun. Okay, he said, reaching over to touch my dick right then and there. Within seconds, we both pulled down our pants and were stroking each other. It felt nice to be touched. It was a revelation to have someone else bring me an orgasm. That was something I wanted to do again, and I didn't care who did. Next time we get together, Stuart goes right for my dick. With his mouth. Thank you, Dr. Rubin! I reciprocated. And I enjoyed it. Now, I guess the results of these experiments must have kept on coming up inconclusive, however, because Stuart and I continued to experiment all throughout high school. And then into university. And then just a teensy bit beyond that. Our assignations didn't completely come to an end until Stuart got married, some 15 years after we'd begun. Stuart, like the rest of us, thought that marriage meant the end of those kinds of shenanigans. Quick look on Craigslist or any of the gay hookup sites like Unload will tell you otherwise. They are filled with married guys in their 40s looking to experiment. What do we think happens to these other aspects of ourselves when we put on the ring? I'm married now. Time to get serious. Buckle down. Pull myself up into a small preconceived box. When given a chance, sexuality is fluid. It's flexible, ever-changing. It's not stamped on the back of one's head at birth. Straight. Curious. Slightly gay. Really gay. Oh yeah, likes wearing women's underwear. We can find ourselves within these definitions, and then we find ourselves looking for ways to get out, yet being afraid to do so. I've met gay guys interested in pussy and straight guys looking to suck home. I told myself I was filling the gaps with Stuart, meeting with him because I didn't have a woman. It wasn't quite true. Found myself slipping on a couple of occasions. Why am I doing this? I'm not gay. I think I'm gay. I'm gay. Maybe I'm gay. Well, how can I be gay if I like women? Check that. I don't like women. I love women. Their soft, creamy thighs, their sweet smell, their feminine ways. I adore them, crave them, want them, need them, cannot live without them. Pussy is my favorite thing on earth. Okay, that and a cheeseburger. So if that's the case, Why do I also fantasize about cock? There were many times in my life when I thought the whole bisexuality thing was over. It was like a bout of strep throat. Worked its way through my system when I was cured. Praise the Lord, I'm healed. Here's a little test, though, in case you're wondering how to judge your own desires. This is from my perspective, but ladies, you can just flip around. When your wife or girlfriend is going down on you, you find you're envious of them, wondering why it is they get to have all the fun, wishing you too could be sucking on a hot cock. At that point, you know something's up. Not shit, but when can you get here? When can I get there? I guess I can duck out now. Go to the hardware store. I experimented with men when I was in my 20s. I was picky, tentative. I held back. I remember walking around bathhouses at 4 in the morning. Toes too hairy, nipples too pink. Chubby fingers? I don't think so. I want to live it this way. No holding back. Could I kiss a guy? Something I'd never allowed myself to do. Or taste his cum. Another threshold I've been across with. Where are you located? I asked him. Hoping it's somewhere far away to make it easy to find the invitation. Kids. Worth the view. Damn! That's close! I can be there in 5 minutes! How am I going to get out of this thing? Do I want to get out of this thing? I've been fantasizing about this for so long. When I was heated up, I promised myself I'd go through it. But then when it comes time to act, like now, I feel cold. In the end, I do little more than drive myself crazy. The strangest thing is, this is the most stable period in our 12-year marriage. Gabrielle and I are both working full time. And maybe that's the problem. We're not 9-to-5ers. We're creative types. We met in an acting class. She was a producer looking for a screenplay, and I, a screenplay writer looking for a producer. Teaming up to make a movie was our first big adventure together. We got married 6 months later. By our first anniversary, Gabrielle was pregnant with Orlando, and with Beatrice by our second. We dropped the artsy stuff. Got real jobs. When are you looking for? Maybe I can postpone the decision. Although I know full well he's looking for now. Everyone on Unload is looking for now. Right now. This instant. Any time. When's good for you? Ever accommodating? Gabrielle comes downstairs. I quickly hide my computer screen. She is all business, although it's Saturday morning. Telling the kids, TV time's almost over. She stomps around, arranging, rearranging, stacking anything in her way. It's all on her to-do list. Except intimacy with her husband. I can't remember the last time we had sex, let alone good sex. When Gabrielle and I are the same, we have a fire extinguisher next to our bed. But when we're off kilter, like now, we are separated by a vast expanse of frozen Arctic tundra. You never support me. You never support me. I do too. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. We're both stubborn and immature. It's a winning combination. Anything would set us off. The slightest wrong look or action would instantly lead to a cold shoulder. One cold shoulder is responded to with another, leading to a breakdown in communication, and of course, no sex. Gabrielle and I are quite committed to our games of one-upmanship denial. They go on for weeks. We'd pass each other sideways in the hallways and we would brush up against each other. At night, we'd lie in bed, pencil straight. big trough between us, lest an errant touch be perceived as an act of capitulation. Those standoffs were uncomfortable and frustrating as all hell. But at least I still had a scorpion sting of passion for Gabrielle. There was a strong pull between the two of us. The disconcerting thing is that lately, I feel nothing at all. The other day we're having an argument and she screams at me, "Do you even love me anymore? Do you want to be with me? Do you even care that I'm here?" I just looked at her, unable to speak. Do I love her? Sure, it's not the young, passionate love that one's minds, but I do love her, in a way. Is it okay that I love her, but I'm not in love with her? I think about that warm, fluttery feeling of being in love. I want to feel that way again. I want to be with someone who excites me, who makes my heart go pitter-patter when I see her. I can be there in 10 minutes. And then he responds to me with the holy grail of internet hookups. The address. Okay, Marco. This is it. The next layer of intimacy is being intimate with another, even if it is behind one's back. I've never had an emotional relationship with a man. Straight women in the audience are like, duh. Emotionally, I've always been into women. For me, the man-to-man thing is about sex. Although I feel very little desire when I drive out into his house. This is supposed to be fun, I tell myself. I try to see if I can get something going. I put my hand down my pants. I swear to God, my penis is not there. It is retracted into my body. I take the elevator up to his floor. Really? Yes, really. It's time to stop thinking about it and just act already. Get it out of your system. I'm happy to see he looks just like his photo. I stepped into his darkened hallway. "Hello," he says, closing the door. I reach out to feel his package. "You don't waste any time, do you?" he says, quickly dropping to his knees, undoing my pants and getting to work. There's something so hot about anonymous sex. He comes back up. "Let's go to the bedroom," he says, pulling me by my hard cock. We strip and fall into the bed, bodies entangled. We start stroking each other. He has a small penis, which is unexpected. But what really bothers me is the tip. It's red and irritating. Not at all appealing. My heart sinks. After all this time, only to end up with a little red-tipped stick dick. He bends over to kiss me. No thanks. Sorry. You don't like kissing? No. Not even a bit? Not even a bit. There's no way I'm ready to do that yet. Kissing really makes it for me. "Okay, if you're not, you're not," he says. He then proceeds to go down on me, but I think he's angry about the kissing. Because although he's earnest and working hard, it's mediocre. What I really want to do is reciprocate. I'm not one of these guys who never gets a blowjob at home. What I don't get is a chance to suck cock, which is what I'm after, because that's what I'm missing. So I maneuver around to take a second look. No. It's still the same little red-tipped stick pin. And I pass again. He takes a break from sucking and comes back up to join me. Our bodies touching. It feels nice. He takes both our cocks in his hand and strokes them together. You ready to come, he says to me. Okay, I say, leaning back to let him finish us both off. Had I known it was going to be this fast, I could have told Gabrielle I was going out for a liter of milk. Afterward, he brings me a towel to clean up. Gay guys are so thoughtful. I'm smiling as I get dressed. I've done it. I've crossed the line, broken the seal. And now that I have, I want something a lot more satisfying. You're wearing my t-shirt, he says to me. Pretty sure I wore a white one. Yeah, not that one though. I think it'd be fun to live with a guy. Share clothes, body products. I notice one of his hairs on my shirt and I go to get rid of the evidence. But it just keeps coming and coming, long and blonde. Oh, fuck. It's Gabrielle's. She's watching me. Later that night, Gabrielle and I are getting ready to get into bed. She's grumbling about being tired, yawning, and getting into her big, comfy sweatpants. You got it. She's not in the mood. Normally, that would take me off. It is Saturday night after all. Usually, I am horny as hell and looking for a long, drawn-out all-nighter. Tensions would ensue, and that would be the end of that. Tonight, however, I'm calm. I'm content. I can even get into cuddling. She, too, is more relaxed, happy that I'm not hounding her for sex, although she doesn't know why. And then, whether it's because we haven't fought, or maybe she subconsciously feels me slipping away, I'm not sure. But our night takes a totally unforeseen turn. The sweatpants come off! This works so well on so many levels. I pull her warm, soft body into mine. I do love it. One of the biggest problems I have when seeking sexual relations with men is that except for the slightest sliver of the population, I find most men to be repulsive. I have no idea how women or gay guys sleep with us. We are big, ungainly, fat, hairy, smelly. I guess the same could be said of some women, but I'm not sexually attracted to them either. Now, according to my Aunt Heather, we went to the World's Fair together in Montreal when I was a kid. There was a big poster of Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man there. You know, the one where he's standing there like this. He's all anatomically correct. I was 5 years old at the time, apparently. I pointed to the poster and screamed out, "Hey, look! There's a man and his penis!" And that statement makes sense to me to this day. They're two separate entities, as many of us know, right? On the one hand, you have the penis, which is fun and exciting, and then you happen to have the man attached to the other end of it. Now, you can keep your exquisite jawline, broad shoulders, strong thighs. Same as package for me. Aunt Heather has never let me forget that statement. Throughout my life, she'd lean over and say, "It was just so weird. I mean, there was something so weird for a little kid to say, don't you think?" I just look at her quizzically like, "Yeah, Aunt Heather. No idea what that means. Some kind of weird, abstruse meaning in those words." But all the while, I'm thinking, yes, it's true, Aunt Heather. You're right. I have a thing for cocks. Big cocks, little cocks, skinny cocks, fat. Old ones, young ones, those without a hat. White cocks, black cocks, 8, 9, and 10. They say they keep coming. again and again. Veiny cocks, hairy cocks, some shaved and smooth. They all start with promises they claim they can prove. Big talkers, big shooter, big head, big balls. I use mine in construction to break down walls. Seen lots of cocks and plenty of fun. But it all comes down to rule number 1. So to all you studs who are fucking machines with your immodest claims about what's in your jeans, whatever you're packing inside of your pants, it better be locked and loaded and ready to dance. Because at the end of the night, when that little cutie is looking to ball, buddy, if that cock ain't hard, it ain't worth nothing at all. It was a dark, cold, rainy winter's eve as I left the house to run an errand, when from out of nowhere, unless from the very depths of the night's blackness itself, come the words clear and distinct in my head, "Your marriage is over." I freeze. Who said that? I look around for a possible source to these words, although I know full well the street is deserted. I hadn't been thinking about Gabrielle at all. We hadn't had a fight. There doesn't seem to be anything to have prompted the words in the least, which is what makes them that much more honest. I go to the car and sit down. Marco, do you want a divorce? I don't think I want a divorce. But how do I explain the words? I don't say anything about this to Gabrielle, but the thought remains. Not only does it remain, but it grows. After that, whenever we're having an argument, the words echo in my head. At times, the sentiment is so strong, it feels like a marble on the tip of my tongue. All I have to do is open my mouth and, "I want a divorce," will spill right out. I walk around with this marble for a year and a half. Gabrielle is no happier than I during this time. Her way of shaking things up is to suggest we take off for a year. "Let's go traveling around the world," she says. "The kids are 11 and 12, a perfect age." Sounds like a good idea to me. I'm thinking, one last hurrah as a family. We explain it to the kids like this. The object of our trip, the goal of it, the stick by which we shall measure the success, is to first and foremost see just how much fun we can create for ourselves. How much joy. That's it. That's our job, our work for the next year. They think it sounds pretty cool. We sell our house and all our personal belongings to fund the adventure. I highly recommend it. It's like taking the biggest, most satisfying crap of your entire life. All I can think is how easy it'll be to split up once we get home. Divide the money and see. The trip itself is a magical experience. We go to 18 countries in all. We go off the beaten path. Tibet, Borneo, India. We also go to the tried and true, Italy, France, Thailand. Slowly, Gabrielle and I start to ease off each other while traveling. We managed to make it back to Vancouver 1 year later, still together. But now that we're back, I can feel we're falling into the same old patterns of habits as before we left. And I sure as hell don't want to play that game. One game I do start to play again, though, and right away, is the one where I experiment with men. Something I've been unable to do while on the road. And then one afternoon, after a brief encounter, it hits me. I'm living in a monogamous, heterosexual relationship, when in fact, I need it. The next layer of intimacy is coming clean to one's life. Every time I imagine telling Gabrielle, the scene ends with her running and screaming from the room, or the restroom, or wherever. So I decide to drive up to Cypress Mountains. There'd be nowhere for her to run. No one to hear her scream. She'd be trapped, forced to be. As we're driving out there and thinking, she's a brave woman to have married me, knowing what's about to befall her. I pull over to the side of the road and park. I pause to savor the final moments of our old life together. And then I leap off the highest cliff of my entire life. Our marriage is over. It has been for quite some time. At the very least, it's over in the way it used to be, which is a good thing, because I wasn't very happy. And I don't think you were either. Marco, did you drive me up here to tell me you wanted a divorce? No, I don't want a divorce. Not anymore. But you might. I've been having sex with guys behind your back. There haven't been that many. It hasn't been that often. But I've done it. I haven't slept with any women, though, if that's any consolation. Oh, my God. It's after midnight when we get home. Gabrielle drops onto the bed. She is flattened and beat. I sympathize with her. I really do. But I am so relieved to have come out I can barely contain myself. For the first time in my life, I don't have to lie, or hide, or grapple with my sexuality. I'm bisexual. Openly bisexual now that she knows. I feel good. I feel loose. I feel cocky. Why, yes, that was a double entendre. Okay, let me see. Well, I'm bisexual, so I'd like salad and fries. Me? No, thanks, sir. I've made up my mind. I like chocolate and vanilla, and sometimes I like them together. I like that. No one is more amazed than Gabrielle herself when after 4 days she gets up to have breakfast with me. I'm ready to talk. Let's go out for dinner tonight. Okay. She brings a cheat sheet with her to make sure she doesn't forget anything. She is angry that I lied to her. She's disappointed that I hadn't confided in her. She will never trust me in the same way again. And she agrees with me. Our marriage is over. I've been lying in bed wondering what I wanted to do, she says. Do I want a divorce? It's possible. But the idea doesn't really thrill me. I wonder what the hell attracted me to you in the first place. I went over our lives together, how it all started with our production company, which was an adventure. The incredible trip we just created, having kids, selling the house. We're adventurers, you and I. Explorers. That's why we've chosen each other. Either we're going to be thrilled, or we're really not that interested. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I've decided I'm going to stay with you, Martha. I think we can still have a few laughs together. Well, that's a relief. You know, you're not the only one who wants to experiment sexually and sleep with other people. I'm not, eh? No, you're not. Of all the eventualities I had ever imagined after my confession, I never envisioned this one. After 15 years of marriage, Gabrielle and I decide to unlock the door and set each other free. From this point forward, we decide we're going to stay with each other only because we enjoy each other's company. And if we want to enjoy the company of someone else along the way, we can do that too. So here I am, experimenting again. Except now it's with Gabrielle. We decide to start our new relationship off by having a bi-digenesis. Something for everyone. The next layer of intimacy is sucking a cock in front of your wife. Codie is a cutie. Mid-20s, ripped, sexy body, short, spiky hair, and a juicy cock. I show his picture to Gabrielle from the Craigslist ad. It's his first threesome as well. He wants us to come over tonight. Tonight? Well, that's out of the question. I can't sleep with some guy I've never met yet. Now there's a unique twist. Gabrielle, I don't think you understand how difficult that's going to be. I mean, it's hard enough to set up one meeting with a guy, let alone two. You go over to some stranger's house and have sex with him just like that? It's been known to happen. Yeah, well, I'm a woman, in case you haven't noticed. I can't do something like that. I have to at least meet the guy first. Look, I know this is all new for you, but I've walked out of plenty of guys' apartments because I wasn't into it. If we get there and you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, we walk. We get there, you don't like his carpeting, we walk. Don't like his t-shirt, we walk. We could be right in the middle of fucking, and if you want to leave, we leave. I don't know, Martha, what if he's a psycho? He's a little guy. We outnumber him 2-to-1. We're going to his house. If anything, he's the one who should be afraid. I'll do it this once, but that's it. I mean it. Codie opens the door, and the three of us just stand there in a state of suspended animation. This is going to be fun. His apartment is surprisingly neat and clean. We smoke a joint and drink wine out of juice glasses. Gabrielle's kind of quiet as Codie and I banter anxiously. I'm trying to get in the mood, but the fluorescent lights are killing me. Codie, maybe we can light a candle or something. The whole bedroom's filled with them. Really? Well, let's see. I look over at Gabrielle, who's giving me a signal. It's kind of like... I gotta take a peek anyway. Sure enough, the queen-size bed is surrounded by lit candles. It looks beautiful. It's nice and warm in here too, says Gabrielle, suddenly standing by my side. Yeah, I turned up the heat before you guys got here, says Codie. The three of us kind of retract from the abyss of his bedroom. We return to our wine, but there's an uncomfortable moment of silence. There's really nothing left to be said. Let's go to the bedroom, I said. Let's go, says Codie. Gabrielle comes along. She's aghast, but she comes along. It's kind of hot in here, says Codie. I think I'm going to take off my shirt. Why stop at your shirt, I say, pulling off my underwear. And before Gabrielle can sit down and cross her legs, Codie and I are on each other. I take him around and pull his hard body into mine. He looks up at me and, without even thinking about it, we kiss long and deep, our hard cocks rubbing against each other. I pull my young charge over to Gabrielle, who's sitting on the side of the bed, our two erections pointing at her accusingly. Whoa, 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 wait a second here, guys. I'm not ready yet. I need a second. I can't believe you guys are naked already. I think Gabrielle was expecting a slow, romantic video. She's never been with two men before, though. Codie and I take it back on. The three of us lie down in bed, Gabrielle in the middle. We start feeling each other's bodies, and something about having a straining cock in each hand, which kind of, Gabrielle, her switch is flipped, and she's in. We go through many levels of intimacy that night, not the least of which is watching my wife fucking another man. The idea of monogamy is so deeply ingrained within us that even though Gabrielle knew it was okay, she was still hesitant before that initial act of penetration, although she quickly got over it. I found it incredibly erotic to watch her with Codie. She felt the same way watching me with him. There are so many hot possibilities between two bi guys and a woman. Ooh, la, la. My mind was racing all night. Gabrielle, why don't you get on your back? Yeah, Codie, you go over here, and I'm going to get over here. Actually, Gabrielle, you get up like this. Yeah. Codie, you go around this side. Codie, why don't you get on your back? Yeah, Gabrielle, you go over here. I'm going to sort of straddle him like this. I've got a great idea. Let's make a Gabrielle sandwich. Gabrielle, you come over here. Yeah, and then Codie, you come over here like that. Eventually, I find myself lying on my back. My cock is buried deep inside Gabrielle, who's riding me cowgirl. She's making out with Codie, who's kneeling by my side, his cock sliding back and forth along my lips and tongue. My senses are a blur. It's like I'm riding an erotic merry-go-round. Codie's ripped abdomen, her hips grinding into me. The pungent smell of sex. My hand on her breast. Their deep French kiss. Codie's slippery balls against my cheek. The taste of pre-cum on my tongue. Gabrielle's moans. And then Codie's voice. It's coming. It's coming, he says. I figure he's spurring on Gabrielle, whose rhythm is picking up as she approaches yet another orgasm. It's coming. It's coming, he repeats. I look up, expecting to see Gabrielle in the throes of it. Instead, I see Codie's head shoot back as he explodes all over my mouth and face, giving me my first taste of cum. Seconds later, Gabrielle lets out her own groans of pleasure as she pulls out her biggest and final orgasm of the night. I just lay there being bathed in their sexual release, deriving a kind of pleasure which far exceeds any I can gain from my own. Oh. I'm not sure what the etiquette is for hanging around after a BHF ball. We stay about half an hour. After that, Gabrielle and I hurried to the car. That was the most incredible sexual experience of my life, I say. Definitely, she concurs. I have to steady myself on the steering wheel. I think we have just hit upon the most perfect sexual configuration in the universe. Oh yeah, that was so hot, having two cocks like that. But I'm telling you right now, Martha, that's the last time we get together with someone without meeting them first. I mean it. That's okay with me. As long as we can do that again, and soon, we can do it again. But we have to meet the guy first. Yeah, Gabrielle, I get it. We'll meet the guy first, okay? Yes, we will, or we're not doing it. Or we're not doing it. Okay, I get it. Can we move on? Sure. Let's get something to eat. I'm starving. I marvel at how quickly she can get me so angry, just moments after having an incredible experience like that. Whereas in the past, a little spat like this would have led to the next big standoff. Now when I look at Gabrielle, I see the woman who just joined me in my first threesome. The one who stayed with me despite my transgressions. The one who accepts me for who I am. And my anger just melts away. I take her hand. You're an incredible woman, Gabrielle. Yes, I am. Gabrielle and I start meeting lots of guys for afternoon coffee. Unfortunately, only a few of them get invited back for the all-important second date. But still, we have a blast together filling up our dance card. It's like we're teenagers, sneaking around, having sex. We're complicit, partners in crime. She and I reveal our innermost desires to each other, and then we play them out together. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable like never before. And I begin to love her like never before. I start to say it too, and often. In response, she'd squeeze my arm or give me a peck on the cheek. Sometimes she'd give me a look. But that was all she'd do. At first, Gabrielle and I both thought that our threesomes would satisfy my man-to-man desires. It quickly became apparent they would not. There's a big difference between me being on the prowl as a lone wolf and being on the hunt with Gabrielle. I needed to be with guys on my own, especially in the beginning. I was hungry, had a lot of ground to it. Gabrielle said she was okay with it, as long as I told her beforehand. But I could see that it was difficult for her. We'd often end up arguing about it. So I started telling her afterward. But we'd argue about it then too. And then she came clean herself one night. I guess I'm kind of jealous, she said. You go off and have all these adventures on your own, which is fine, I understand that. You need it. And I'm happy for you. But I need something on my own too. I want to have some adventures apart from you, just to balance things out. She was right, of course. Until she crossed that line, this whole open relationship thing was really just feeling. I did point out, however, that a true apples-to-apples comparison would be if she went out and slept with other women. But Gabrielle's not interested in women sexually. She likes men. Go figure. I still had not been with any other woman since meeting Gabrielle, although she had been with plenty of other guys. It's just that I was always there with her. So it was a trade-off of sorts. Now that night that we'd set each other free, I made it clear that in light of what I'd done, far be it for me to say what she could or could not do sexually. I know I can do whatever I want, but it's not that easy for a woman. I wish there was a bathhouse I could go to, where I felt comfortable hooking up with some random guy on Craigslist. But I don't. Having the freedom to explore my bisexuality was the greatest gift that anyone had ever given me. I loved being able to meet guys on my own. I wanted Gabrielle to have the same kind of thrill. I also liked the idea of her evening the score, being as bad as I do. And yeah, the idea kind of turned me on. What about Russ? Would you consider meeting him on your own? Her face just lit right up. She arched her back and curled her legs underneath her, just like a little kitty cat. Meow. We'd met Russ about 4 months back. Unlike most other guys, he had no qualms about meeting beforehand. He was unfazed by our need to change the time and date more than once. When we finally did meet him, he was relaxed, open, forthright about his past encounters. He had about as much experience with couples as we had with guys joining us. He was around our age too, which was nice. Young pups like Codie are fun, but there's nothing like a mature wolf to take a scene to the next level. Russ has an edge to him. He looks like a thug. Buzzed head, lean, muscular body, and really cool. He and I have an understanding. And there's an intensity between the three of us. And after a couple of meetings, a trust. I can swear we have done this before. We go deep. Take it right to the very edge. Our encounters are raw, sexual, dirty. Russ and I like dogs on poor Gabrielle, who can do little more than hang on as we have our way with her over and over again. Afterward, the three of us just lie there, spent, calm. Gabrielle in the middle as we gently caress each other. Russ turns out to be a super nice guy. Soft-spoken, well-read, intelligent, with the added bonus of having his own meal down the heart. The next layer of intimacy is having your wife go off and fuck another man without you. It's a couple of days later, and Gabrielle's supposed to be home around 9 o'clock, which is when her meeting ends, which is also when I get the text. On my way to see Russ, I love you and love the fact that I have the freedom to do this. There is an immediate rise in heat in my lung, along with a corresponding rise in anger. I am jealous and turned on at the same time. It's like having one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. My engine is revving, the wheels are spinning, smoke is pouring out, and I'm not going anywhere. It's like smoking a joint while drinking an espresso. There's this kind of tearing apart inside of me. Feels kind of good. I could see the two of them in his apartment. Russ, shirtless on the couch. Gabrielle sitting in a chair in front of him. He tells her to lift her dress. She opens her legs. Oh my God, it is so hot! It drives me crazy that I'm not there with her! What if Russ takes it too far? Turns into some sort of a maniac because I'm not there with him. It's Russ. It's okay. I know him. Is she going to leave me for Russ? No. I know that. But still, I can see him holding her down. How am I going to get this out of my head for the next couple of hours? She has the car, so I can't go anywhere. Which is fine. Because I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be here the second she gets back. Or when it's my turn to have my way with her. She'd love it if I cleaned up the kitchen. How cliche is that? The cuckold husband at home cleaning the kitchen while his wife is out getting fucked by another man. Why would I wear a frilly apron while doing it? Maybe we've gone too far. You know, if I were out right now fucking another woman, she would not be too happy about that, I can tell you. With every passing car I run to the window, my heart going pitter-patter in expectation. It's been just over an hour. She'll be back soon. I'm going to get the bedroom ready. I am going to light some candles and put on some really cool, sexy music. Holy shit. I've been thinking she's going to be gone an hour or two. Oh what if she's not home until really late? Or not at all. I did say she could do whatever she wanted. It's just after 11 when I get a text. On my way home. I'm sitting on the bed naked when she comes into the room. My cock is a burning pyre of sexual energy. And so is she. Stepping from her dress, she is wearing nothing at all underneath. She comes over to the bed, straddling me, wet and open. She lowers herself down to the very root. Down, down, down we go. Our connection, our love plunging to new depths of intimacy. Gabrielle starts crying. I could feel her opening up, letting go of anger, fear, resentment. She looks me straight in the face. I love you, Marco, she says to me. I love you, Gabrielle. I love you with all my heart. We're both surprised by the intensity of the emotion. I've never felt so much love for anyone before in my life. So much passion. I never thought I'd be able to. Certainly not after 16 years of marriage. And now that I love her so much, I don't want to lose her. I want to lock things down, close them off, buy a chastity belt. I'm scared, like the rest of you. Scared she'll leave me, that I'll no longer measure up, that she'll find more pleasure in another. But if we lock things down, we'll go back to stagnation. And we all know how that story ends. No. We need the freedom, the spark, the excitement. So here we must stay, risking it all in the hope that we will continue to discover we are each other's most perfect partner. So far, it's working.